You wake up and your mind is already running full speed. Thoughts jump around, old memories flash, worries pop up out of nowhere. New ideas hit you before you even know what's happening. You're not waking up, you're catching up to something that started without you. People call this being distracted. They picture noise, clutter, chaos, but inside it doesn't feel messy. It feels fast, constant, like a machine that never slows down, never shuts off. And there's a question you can't ignore. If your mind can't stay still, then why are there moments where you can focus so deeply? You forget everything else around you. How can a brain feel out of control? And yet laser sharp when it wants to be? Something doesn't add up. And whatever that something is, it's bigger than anyone ever told you. You sit down to do something simple, a task you understand, a task that matters, a task you promised yourself you wouldn't put off again. Your brain gives you nothing, no spark, no momentum, no emotional traction. It feels like trying to pick up an object that keeps slipping out of your hands, not because you're careless, but because your grip refuses to exist. You stare at the task and feel pressure rising, but pressure doesn't turn the engine on. Pressure just tightens the rope. Then something else. Something unexpected, unimportant but alive, catches your attention for half a second. And the switch flips, your mind ignites, you dive in, you burn through information. You enter a tunnel of clarity where everything makes sense. You could do this for hours, 2 versions of you, both real, neither negotiable. People call that inconsistency. But inconsistency implies randomness. There's nothing random about which version appears. Something inside you is choosing. Which raises the first real mystery. What is your mind prioritizing, and why? Your real battle isn't with forgotten tasks. It's with the meaning you've attached to them. You grew up hearing, "You're too smart to struggle with this." You're overreacting again. Why can't you do what everyone else can? You're always making things harder than they need to be. You didn't just hear those words, you absorbed them. They became the lens through which you interpreted every mistake. Meanwhile, your emotions hit like shockwaves. A tiny criticism doesn't sting, it spirals. A small disappointment doesn't fade, it lingers like a bruise beneath the ribs. A minor rejection doesn't annoy you, it rearranges your sense of self. You try to act unaffected, but your body gives you away. Your heart spikes, your thoughts tighten, your breath shortens, then guilt sets in. Not for the mistake, but for reacting so intensely. But look closer. You don't forget because you don't care. You forget because your mind is processing 3 layers deeper than the moment requires. You don't react strongly because you're fragile. You react strongly because your system sees more, hears more, feels more. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's data, too much data, arriving too quickly for a world that prefers simplicity. Which leaves a sharper question. Why would a brain be built to register everything at maximum intensity unless that intensity served a purpose? Here's what no one explained. Your mind doesn't respond to importance. It responds to aliveness. A task becomes real only when it carries emotional charge, novelty, urgency, curiosity, unpredictability, or tension. If it lacks those elements, your brain doesn't slow down. It detaches. This isn't defiance. It's wiring. Your system is built for environments where rapid shifts matter. Where noticing tiny anomalies keeps you ahead, not behind. Where speed matters more than steadiness. Where intuition beats procedure. You are wired for adaptation, not repetition. Pattern detection, not monotony. Intensity, not neutrality. In a slow world, that wiring looks like a liability. In a fast world, it becomes the thing other people rely on without knowing why. But here's the deeper twist. Your brain's intensity, speed, and sensitivity form a blueprint built for a different kind of ecosystem. The question isn't, why don't you fit the world? The real question is, what world would someone wired like you rise inside? Everything changes the moment you stop trying to quiet your mind and start learning how to work with it. Look at your patterns again. Without shame, switching tasks isn't flakiness. It's your brain searching for something it can actually latch onto. Restlessness isn't immaturity. It's your system telling you your mind needs movement to think clearly. Acting fast isn't carelessness. It's instinct moving before hesitation slows you down. Feeling deeply isn't instability. It's high-resolution awareness hitting at full strength. Calling these flaws never helped you. Aiming them does, because when your mind finally locks in, you don't need structure or motivation. You enter a state most people never touch. Your real problem was never ability. It was entering that state on purpose. And there are 3 things that change everything. First, your brain only engages when something feels real. So you make tasks real, visible, physical, broken into pieces your mind can grab in under 10 seconds. Second, your impulses aren't obstacles, they're momentum. Instead of fighting them, you redirect them closer to where you actually want to go. Third, your emotions aren't random. They spike to tell you where you're bored, where you're scared, where you're overwhelmed, where something is misaligned. Label the feeling, even once, and your brain stops drowning in it and starts using it. None of this is about fixing yourself. It's about steering the system you already have. You're still missing the deeper question. What is it preparing you for? That answer isn't in the shifts, it's in the design behind them. And once you see that design clearly, your entire story rewrites itself from the beginning. Go back to that moment you woke up. The racing thoughts, the pressure, the sense your mind was already ahead of you. You spent years thinking that meant something was wrong. But here's the real picture. Your system wakes early because it's scanning ahead. Your thoughts fire fast because they're searching for patterns. Your attention jumps because it refuses to waste itself on anything meaningless. Your emotions spike because your brain refuses to miss important signals. This isn't dysfunction. This is design, a brain built for alertness, fast pattern recognition, emotional accuracy, and interest-driven focus. A brain built for change, not repetition. You were punished for moving too fast in places built for slow minds. You were misunderstood because your biology wasn't meant for flat, predictable terrain. You were mislabeled because your potential only activates under the right conditions. Conditions you rarely had. But when those conditions appear, when stakes rise, when complexity grows, when everyone else stalls, your mind becomes the advantage. The speed becomes clarity. The sensitivity becomes insight. The intensity becomes power. The restlessness becomes the refusal to live small. What you called too much was never too much. It was exactly right for the kind of mind built to operate beyond the limits of normal. Your flaw was never your mind. Your flaw was living in places that required too little of it. And now that you see the design behind how you think and feel, you can stop shrinking to match the world and start building a world that finally fits the way your mind was meant to move.